Get ready, because today we're diving straight into the brutal, hard-hitting facts behind the Prince of All Saiyans himself, Vegeta. And hey, Dragon Ball lore is wild, so if you catch any plot holes or miss details, prove your power level and drop them in the comments below. 1. Babidi attempted to fully manipulate the mind and body of Vegeta. His plan was to force the prince into absolute submission. He promised to grant Vegeta a massive power buff. However, stepping into this mind control trick was actually a brilliant trap set up by Vegeta himself. He completely abused this dark magic just to get his stats buffed. He absorbed the power from Babidi without ever intending to serve him. He ignored orders and only focused on his true goal, which was throwing hands with Goku and absolutely nobody else. He even cursed out his supposed master, showing zero respect and leaving Babidi feeling deeply insulted. 2. The ultimate lifelong goal of Vegeta is to completely destroy Kakarot. This rivalry is the absolute core motivation that drives his entire existence. He trained his entire life for this, but every single time Vegeta actually manages to surpass Goku in power, our main character just randomly unlocks an utterly broken new transformation that completely leaves the prince in the dust again. It is incredibly frustrating to constantly work so hard, only to realize that pure effort means nothing without that ridiculous plot armor. 3. Inside the prophetic dreams of the god of destruction, Beerus, he saw a legendary Super Saiyan who could actually match his overwhelming power. This vision made him incredibly eager for a real battle. Interestingly, the mysterious warrior in that dream actually had a silhouette that looked exactly like Vegeta. 4. While Vegeta has not unlocked Ultra Instinct yet, he managed to push his limits and completely buff his Super Saiyan Blue form into a heavily evolved state. This exclusive transformation is known as Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. The sheer volume of his aura becomes massively larger and shines with a blinding brilliance. This raw power scaling is completely on par with Goku using his Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. 5. When Goku wanted to show the Elder Kai a picture of an attractive woman, he practically offered up a photo of Bulma without any hesitation. Vegeta was standing right there and instantly realized Goku was using his wife as a bargaining chip. He furiously yelled at Goku, asking why he did not just use a picture of his own wife Kai Kai instead of offering up Bulma right in front of him. 6. Vegeta has an incredibly massive fan base that often completely overshadows the popularity of Goku himself. He was originally designed as a ruthless anti-hero, but his character arc shows genuine emotional growth and raw humanity. He constantly grinds and pushes beyond his absolute limits to achieve his goals. Sadly, he just severely lacks that overpowered main character plot armor. 7. Despite his overwhelming pride and massive ego, there was actually one specific time where he openly admitted that Goku is simply the undisputed one. Vegeta was genuinely moved by the pure kindness and unyielding spirit of Kakarot. He even embraced a hero persona to help save the universe. However, that incredibly humble moment was strictly a one-time occurrence. Old habits die hard. After that epic battle, his original arrogant nature returned. Whenever he gets the chance, he still aggressively demands a rematch with Goku to prove his dominance. 9. During the intense battle against Majin Buu, Vegeta casually unleashed an absolutely overpowered blade of pure energy, completely dominating Buu like he was nothing. Much later on, Vegeta actually managed to master this exact energy sword technique during the Tournament of Power. It remains totally unclear if Goku has the ability to pull off this move. 10. When Vegeta realized that the Universe 6 Saiyans had completely lost their ability to transform, lacking any true warrior pride, and were even willing to just give up, he became absolutely furious. He totally forgot that in his own universe it took a solid 1,000 years of bloody history just for a single Super Saiyan to finally emerge. He falsely assumed everyone else was naturally buffed like him. 11. Vegeta completely lost his mind with sheer anger when Buu was actively trying to annihilate the entire Earth, because in that critical split-second Goku chose not to teleport their powerful sons to safety. Instead, he prioritized saving a random dog, and even Mr. Satan. It is absolutely hilarious because at that exact moment Buu only had a power level of 30 billion. If Goku had just saved Gohan and brought him to the sacred world of the Kai, Gohan had an insane power level of 70 billion. Gohan could have completely one-shot Buu with zero effort. Even Gotenks possessed a massive power level, sitting comfortably at 54 billion. 12. Out of all the pure-blooded Saiyans who managed to survive the absolute destruction of their home world, Vegeta is definitely the shortest. He only stands at a modest 1.64 meters tall. 13. Vegeta holds an immense amount of pride for his royal heritage. He always wears his traditional Saiyang battle armor when throwing hands. but during his fight with Majin Buu, since he lacked his armor, he basically fought in his spandex base layer, which was definitely a bold fashion choice. 14. Vegeta was originally a ruthlessly toxic villain. He would brutally execute his own loyal subordinates the moment they became totally useless in battle. When he first landed on planet Earth, he actively tried to wipe out the human race multiple times. 15. His sheer arrogance and self-worth are incredibly massive. It is exceptionally rare for him to ever agree to team up and share the spotlight with anyone else. Even when forced to use the Patara earrings, he absolutely despised relying on an external power buff, strongly preferring to completely dominate his enemies using his own raw strength. 16. Just like Goku, Vegeta has completely nerfed the safety of Earth multiple times. First, he aggressively stopped everyone from finding the Dragon Balls, which could have easily fixed everything. Then, even knowing Dr. Gero was actively plotting to build mechanical world enders, he stubbornly refused to let the Z fighters take him out early. He completely allowed the Android 17 and 18 project to go through. And after getting severely beaten down by them, he made another terrible call. He purposely let semi-perfect Cell absorb 18, just so Cell could reach his completely broken perfect form. He even brutally attacked his own son Trunks when Trunks tried to stop this madness. Naturally perfect Cell immediately rewarded him by wiping the floor with him. Later on, he willingly let Babidi mind control him, just to secure a massive power boost to fight Goku. Even though he fully knew the collateral damage would directly lead to the resurrection of Majin Buu, he eventually used a dramatic self-destruct move to kill Buu, but totally failed since Buu just regenerated. 17. Vegeta actually won a fight against the robotic Vegeta by relentlessly throwing savage insults at him. The emotional damage completely broke the robot spirit, leaving him open for a quick finish. He truly possesses an unmatched level of toxic trash talk. 18. Deep down, Vegeta unconditionally loves his wife and his children. His family acts as his true emotional anchor. When his mind was heavily distracted during combat, he heavily relied on Babidi dark magic to completely shut out his feelings, allowing him to fight Goku with pure unfiltered ruthlessness. 19. Vegeta is naturally an incredibly serious and intense character. Because of this, his sense of humor is always extremely dark and dripping with heavy sarcasm. He is definitely not one for silly slapstick comedy or light-hearted jokes. 20. Back when Vegeta was still ruthlessly conquering Namek, he aggressively assumed every slightly strong fighter was a legendary Super Saiyan. Even though absolutely nobody had the iconic golden hair, he completely hyped himself up, claiming he was the Super Saiyan twice before getting instantly humbled when Gohan received a massive hidden potential buff and fought for just 5 seconds. Vegeta instantly labeled him a Super Saiyan when Goku fully healed up and matched Frieza base speed. Vegeta once again completely misjudged the power scaling, calling Goku the ultimate Super Saiyan. It is extremely tragic that right up until his brutal death at the hands of Frieza, he never actually got to witness what a truly canon golden-haired Super Saiyan looked like. 21. When he was openly asked how he managed to get so incredibly overpowered, he simply claimed it was due to hardcore dedication, doing push-ups and drinking lots of juice. It sounds like an absolutely ridiculous workout routine. Honestly, if he had just added a daily 10-kilometer run, he might have literally become Saitama. 22. When the fearsome god of destruction Beerus completely disrespected Bulma by slapping her, Vegeta completely lost his mind with rage. This massive emotional trigger gave him a completely broken power buff. He ferociously comboed the god of destruction before Beerus even had time to react. Although Beerus basically took 0 permanent damage from this savage assault, Vegeta temporary power scaling was absolutely unreal. What makes this feat so incredible is that he achieved this in his basic Super Saiyan 2 form, something even Super Saiyan 3 Goku completely failed to do. 23. Vegeta was granted a special exception by King Yama. He was actively pulled out of hell and fully restored to his physical body, so that fortune teller Baba could drop him right back into the mortal realm to fight. At that exact point in the chaotic timeline, he was considered the absolute last hope capable of throwing hands with Buu. Historically, the only other fighter allowed to keep their physical body after death was Goku himself. Because Goku had massive connections with the divine hierarchy, he constantly received crazy special treatment. 24. Vegeta actually possesses the incredibly rare ability to artificially generate a fake moon using his own raw energy. This completely overpowered technique allows him to force his own great ape transformation on demand. 25. He once rocked an outfit featuring a hilariously bright pink shirt, yet somehow he still managed to look incredibly masculine. His casual everyday wardrobe is actually quite diverse, compared to the rather repetitive outfits worn by the rest of the main cast. 26. Vegeta has a somewhat toxic habit of using others as pure stepping stones to secure his own glorious victories. 27. His name is literally a heavy pun on the word vegetable. Practically every pure-blooded Saiyang has a name directly punning a specific type of vegetable. What is even more fascinating is the deep lore. Before the Saiyans completely invaded and stole their home, the original native inhabitants were called the Tuffles, which basically translates to crops. And their original homeworld before it was brutally obliterated was actually known as Planet Sadala. 28. Vegeta is incredibly smart and completely mastered the stamina management of his godly forms. He utilizes the Super Saiyan God form to drastically conserve his raw energy, but at the exact millisecond his heavy strike is about to connect, he instantly toggles into Super Saiyan Blue. This completely broken strategy maximizes his damage output while totally minimizing his stamina drain. 29. To officially unlock the Super Saiyan God form, you strictly need a ritual involving 6 righteous Saiyans combining their pure energy to temporarily summon the divine aura. Goku successfully achieved this by borrowing power from 5 other Saiyans. However, the exact method of how Vegeta somehow bypassed the rules and obtained this godly state was totally off-screened and remains an absolute mystery in the canon. 30. Vegeta has literally traveled across endless deep space, exploring countless planets and even different realms in the afterlife. Despite all this epic universe hopping, he has remarkably never once set foot inside the iconic Kame house, even though it acts as the central hub where absolutely every single one of his Earthling allies frequently hangs out. 31. Out of every character who transformed into a giant great ape throughout the entire franchise, Vegeta completely stands out as the only one who completely retained his sanity and flawlessly controlled his massive body in combat. 32. Vegeta massively prides himself on his superior battle IQ. He constantly labels Goku as a complete idiot, yet during an extremely crucial tag team match he foolishly followed Goku's terrible advice and took a heavy beating. After catching a severe beatdown, he furiously yelled at Goku, screaming about how much he regretted listening to him. 33. Vegeta genuinely wanted to visit the original Sadala planet located within Universe 6. Of course, he totally claimed he had absolutely zero intention of violently conquering it. His conquering days are long behind him. Vegeta quietly holds a very deep level of respect for Piccolo, even though his massive pride prevents him from ever actually saying it out loud. 34. There were roughly 3 distinct times where they practically demanded a direct fight with Goku. Actually, I think it was Majin Vegeta who aggressively initiated the clash first. 35. Vegeta feels an absolutely intense rush of savage joy when he gets the perfect excuse to violently beat down an incredibly annoying enemy, especially when that enemy literally wears Goku's exact face, giving him a free pass to completely obliterate Goku Black without any moral hesitation. 36. Whenever Vegeta faces off against enemies who are slightly stronger, or even boasting double or triple his own power level, he immediately rushes in with absolutely zero fear and an insanely high bloodlust. The stronger his opponent is, the more wildly aggressive and chaotic his fighting style becomes. 37. Despite his endless bravery, Vegeta actually knows true fear when faced with utterly broken absolute power, like when he was completely paralyzed by the legendary Super Saiyan Broly or utterly terrified by Beerus. He literally resorted to furiously cooking meals and acting completely subservient just to keep the god of destruction from throwing a universal tantrum during Bulma's birthday party. 38. Hidden beneath his massive ego and overwhelmingly brutal combat prowess, Vegeta actually holds a deeply concealed talent for cooking incredibly delicious gourmet food. 39. Vegeta proudly owns a massive arsenal of completely unique, stylish and highly destructive signature moves. Unlike Goku, who was constantly buffed by numerous legendary masters, Vegeta is a completely self-taught prodigy. King Vegeta only taught him the absolute basics. Everything else is the result of his own brutal solitary training grinds, where he perfectly engineered his own overpowered finishing techniques. 40. In the official manga continuity, Vegeta is actually credited as the true pioneer who perfectly optimized the ultimate Super Saiyan God form, also heavily known in the fandom as Super Saiyan Blue. 41. During the epic inter-universal tournament against Universe 6, Universe 7 deployed for main fighters, the first hurdle was a completely unexpected written exam. Boo instantly failed because he literally cannot spell his own name. Goku barely scraped by since he heavily ignored his basic education. Piccolo is incredibly intelligent and highly strategic, but Vegeta is absolutely the perfect package. He casually possesses top-tier intellect, massive battle IQ and totally overwhelming physical strength. Plus his diplomatic skills, when dealing with cosmic politics and powerful deities later in the series, are actually surprisingly competent. 42. Vegeta constantly put his body through absolute hell on Earth, mercilessly training under gravity scaled up by over 150 times. He constantly forced extreme physical trauma upon himself, desperately grinding to one day absolutely crush Kakarot. Meanwhile, Goku was completely chilling in the deeply spiritual, stamina-friendly environment of the afterlife. This massive cheat code allowed Goku to easily unlock Super Saiyan 3, while Vegeta was left grinding out raw stats just to secure Super Saiyan 2. 43. Vegeta actually showed some mercy by holding back against the Frieza equivalent from Universe 6. He deeply remembered his utterly toxic history with his own Universe Frieza, so seeing Frost was incredibly triggering. However, the Universe 6 counterpart initially appeared to be a genuinely honorable and purely good-natured hero, so he had no real valid excuse to completely obliterate him at first. 44. Vegeta has actually cried on multiple emotional occasions. The most incredibly iconic moment was right before Frieza brutally executed him, where he completely broke down in tears of sheer despair. 45. As the Royal Prince of Planet Vegeta, his official royal title is actually Vegeta IV. His actual name is exactly the same royal title held by his father, the king. This completely means that the ruling monarch of their entire empire is always named Vegeta, and incredibly the entire homeworld of the Saiyang race also proudly carries the exact same name, Planet Vegeta. 46. Later in the series, it seriously seems like Vegeta holds deep compassion for all Saiyans, whether they hail from his own universe or completely different timelines. He surprisingly treats his own family and even Goku kids with genuine respect, but when it strictly comes to Goku himself, he is always hilariously aggressive and massively unfair. 47. When Vegeta popped his Super Saiyan Blue form, he easily suffered heavy damage from a totally random laser attack fired by a weak henchman, yet at the exact same point in time a massively nerfed Vegeta could effortlessly tank a brutal combo from Kid Buu while totally exhausted and barely able to breathe. 48. Vegeta was completely shocked when he found out that Goku actually had absolutely zero idea what kissing was, especially since Goku is literally a married man with 2 fully grown children. It is a completely hilarious mystery. How can someone be so incredibly lethal in battle yet possess such ridiculous innocence? 49. Vegeta is actually quite a bit taller than both Krillin and Gohan. His physical design makes him look a bit smaller and more compact than the other heavy hitters, but he packs an absolutely broken amount of raw destructive power. 50. Goku Black is a villain who heavily abused the Saiyang trait of securing massive power boosts right at the very edge of death. However, Vegeta realized this completely broken mechanic was fundamentally flawed. Zamasu was basically just an arrogant outsider who totally hijacked a Saiyang body. He started off extremely cocky but quickly began losing ground. He entirely relied on future Zamasu to constantly act as his personal medic. This completely allowed Vegeta, fueled by pure raw rage and intense training, to severely overpower him. He absolutely humiliated the villain and shattered his divine ego, forcing him to desperately reveal his heavily corrupted Super Saiyan Rose form. 51. Even though he is completely obsessed with constantly grinding to the peak of pure power just to heavily surpass Goku, when his wife was heavily pregnant and about to give birth, Vegeta completely cancelled all his training schedules. He fiercely chose to stay right beside his family, completely unlike a certain deadbeat main character we all know.